Ciao, toy collectors. So we have another Playforever, but this time it's the UFO, which is supposed to mimic I guess, a combination of the LP400 with its bare, smooth appearance and the wheels of the 400S, which are these 5-hole revolver kind of wheels. So the inspiration is going to be clearly obvious in here. Here's the UK website with the dimensions, and it weighs 350 grams, so quite heavy, meant because it wants to roll for little children. And you can order directly from this website, or the US website has the better pricing, I think. So they're designed in the UK, and then they're made in China like most things. The colorway of this one is called Colomba, and it's the UFO 75. So I guess it's mimicking a 75 Countach. It's part of the mini series. Okay, and there's the blurb about the company, and then here it's meant for 3-year-old children and up. But I'm a grown man, and not even a young one. I'm an old grown man, and I love these things because the build quality is so nice, and the simplicity of them is also so nice. How they've taken although that's a really simplistic design by today's standards, but once you start tacking on fender flares and wings and stuff, it still looks cool, but it's not as clean, right? So I like how Playforever takes all the dirtiness out of modern real cars and just distills them down to like a clean design, and then such a perfect tight finish of the parts and all the like. I don't get paid by these guys. I bought all this stuff with my own money. I think I've only received 2 free things on this entire channel. And look up how many videos I've done here. Suffice to say, collecting toys is not a wise way to invest money. It's not an investment. Alright, well, yeah, look at this thing. Clearly, the wedge design of the 70s. It definitely, the side, honestly, it does look kind of like a Countach, but it doesn't have that NACA duct there. That's what, they've taken out. But instead, they have this crease, both. Well, that crease in this line, it gives it an arrowhead look. It gives it a sensation of speed and a doorstop at the same time. The wheels here, yeah, you got the 5-hole revolver wheels there. A little flat spot there in the center. And oddly, well, this might be a first, but the wheels look like they're matte finish. They look like they have a texture that's common on like this here, this grainy texture of plastics. I think most of the other ones I've seen, the wheels are trying to be more glossy. So that's interesting how they change up the material finish. This is clearly, I think this is actually clear coated. That's why the reflection is so good. It's clear coated and so glossy. And then this as well. This is just painted, I think. Maybe no clear coat, and that's just raw plastic. And you're moving on. I like how the Playforever logo is embedded into the tire sidewall, and the sidewall is bulging out like an old tire would, being filled with air. And then you got these funky treads that I don't associate with the 1970s, but quite interesting. They're quite interesting. They look like race tires or something. Okay, well, I guess we're at the bottom then. So yeah, there's plastic grain. This thing is painted silver, and this thing is screwed together with 2 button head. Looks like chromed or stainless screws. And then it's nice that you have this text. So it's from it's called this UFO. I don't want to really. It's not the series UFO. It's really the mini series. They should maybe have model UFO. Oh, there it is, UFO 75. So maybe the series is kind of a misprint. It should say mini there, right? Color makes sense. Oh, this is the first edition of the batches, but unfortunately that doesn't tell me how old this is. All the other ones I've seen have an actual year, so I think a year helps set the value of, how old something is, helps you set a value of things. I guess first edition helps, but, it doesn't tell me how old the toy is. Alright, well anyways, CE approval, your kid can chew on this and not get lead poisoning. Alright, so yeah, even the glossiness is coming down to the bottom parts here. It's all clear coated, it seems. And then you can hear the smooth rolling. It's got thick axles. I think they're like 3mm axles. I'm pretty sure there's a metal weight inside of this to give it that heft. I've seen online people complaining about this, the exhaust just being a graphic. They are under the clear coat, so you gotta give them credit there. It's gonna be hard to scratch off those ovals unless you get through the clear coat first. But perhaps maybe some of the criticism online is worthy of attention. Maybe these would have been better if there was a separate plastic piece coming from the inside through openings of this white panel and literally looking like exhaust pipes. I say that because some of the other Playforever toys do have a separate exhaust piece. In particular, it's the lead belly muscle car that does that. Okay, so UFO is embedded in here, and you'll notice it's a smooth, glossy finish, whereas up here it's that grainy, matte finish texture. And sadly, a little quality control problem. There's like a scratch there. So I don't know if this is one problem with the brand. They don't tape their boxes. I don't know if this is a used display model or if this is really brand new. You know, if this is really brand new, that's bad quality control. If it's used, then that makes sense. But I don't know because there's no seal on the box, right? So the company really needs to seal their boxes just so people can buy their stuff and know whether or not they've been cheated or not. So yeah, that's disturbing. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to live with it, but it makes me want to buy another one. I already have the black version going to America, so that'll be reviewed later on. Okay, well, we got the little venting here. This is the raw plastic, it seems, with the grain finish, and then this raw plastic down here in these vent areas. Okay, you can see the glossiness of the white is looking good. Oh, look at this. What's up with that? Oh, thankfully, that's just my fingerprint. I thought it was like paint rash or some weird fingerprint in the clear coat. Alright, so this graininess here. There's no windows because it's a toy, so meant for toddlers. So I think any clear windows would get scratched up very easily. So I think it makes sense to not have windows. And then, we're going to need a flashlight here. Alright, so yeah, very modern looking helmet. It actually looks like one of the helmets that Daft Punk, the music band there, wears. I don't know those dudes' names, but that's what it looks like. It's not like a traditional racing helmet, and so that's why I guess it's called UFO. It's from the future or space. Okay, well, you have a separate piece, it looks like, I think, for these little lights, because there is a physical break there. So I think maybe these are coming up through the plastic. So they were clearly able to do that for the headlights. Maybe it would have been better also to do the same for the tail pipes and actually literally have them stick out a little bit. And if they're painted silver, that would have been super cool. Okay, well, the tan interior, it's got a little plastic grain in there, gives it a matte finish. Yeah, alright, it's just one driver. And actually you can even see how that rear part behind the helmet comes back into the interior. So this part here is actually entering the interior, I guess, to give that helmet, put the helmet in the right position instead of more forward. Interesting design choice. And then the bumper here, it's sticking out, and it's just raw plastic of this matte finish. I guess that's it. So yeah, really unfortunate, the scratching there, you know, but I don't know. I don't know if this is new or not. So that's unfortunate for sure. And I guess I have to show you guys how it rolls. That's what it's designed for. It's very heavy. If you rolled this down like a driveway with a slope, this thing would go really fast because it's so heavy. It's very heavy for sure. I almost feel like it's kind of dangerous. Like if a kid threw this around at someone, if someone threw this at you and it hit you in the head, that'd be very painful because it is over 300 grams. Anyways, it rolls, and because of that tread, very funky noise. Yeah, there's a little bit of bowing to the tread to help reduce the rolling resistance of these tires. The tires are actually quite grippy. They're very, very rubbery for sure. Alright, I do have two other mini ones. The Luft. And so sadly, this also had a quality control problem. There's a weird contaminant or something in that tire, and it was all the way white. So I crazy glued it, and now I have a crazy glue mark. And that's also heavy. And also the Speedy Le Mans See, it says Mini on here for the series. It says Color Boy, but it doesn't say Speedy. So I don't know. Some of their naming doesn't make the perfect sense. I always feel like they should also have a series, model, color, and then this should be maybe part number or something, right? But see, the batch is 2021. This Porsche, the batch is 2024. But first edition, 20 years from now, that doesn't really help me, right? If I'm searching, if you find this on eBay, maybe in 20 years you're going to buy this model on eBay. You have no idea how old it is, except for the date of the YouTube. Okay, well, anyways, the three of these things definitely fit in with each other, for sure. The Lambo's pretty big. Yeah, it's the biggest of the three. Yeah, so if you look at the picture of this one with all the fender flares and the wing, it's still a mean looking car for sure. It looks awesome, but I really enjoy how this looks like an even simpler version of the LP400, just much cleaner. One pleasant thing about this particular version is it's screwed together, so I know if I really wanted to, I could take it apart and I can actually either polish out that scratch or maybe paint it silver to match the silver headlights. That would be nice to do, but I'm not going to do it today. Alright, well, yeah, I guess that's the only criticism I have right now for this brand. You have to tape your boxes together so people know they're getting a new item or not. When you charge this much money, I think these are like $55, 60 bucks, somewhere like that. That's no longer a cheap toy, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Is $50 and up cheap for a toddler? Or is it even cheap for an adult? When you can buy a pair of sneakers or something different? I don't know. I'm still happy to have it, but I just wish it was new. Or, if it is new, there's quality control problems going on at the factory, and that needs to be addressed. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll still get some more of these castings. I intend to get one of each of their cars, maybe even duplicates. So we'll see you then. Bye.